Hello everybody, this is Imperial Iowa Country Ball, and today we're going to take a look at my 1939 map. We have a world map, we have North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, and Australia as one map. Then we also have the United States, Mexico, and an Iowa map. So first we're going to look at the world map. So you can tell for Canada here, we got Yukon, like for the territories, we got Yukon, we got Northwest Territories split up by the Mackenzie Territory. I think it's districts. Mackenzie District, Keewatin District, and the Franklin District. For Europe, the Auschwitz has already happened. Czechoslovakia looks to be split in half partially. It might be that Czechia is partially colored in by Germany. It's hard to tell. This is like 480 pixel camera, but like the Bohemia part of Czechoslovakia might be colored in. Labrador is colored in for the exception of the coastlines. The British have a large territory in Arabia. China's split up. They don't show the warlords. I guess they're kind of just de facto. Mongolia's borders are kind of strange thinking about it. India, with the inclusion of Burma and Ceylon. Australia, they show the different territories. Africa, South Africa, we got the Cape of Good Hope. We got the Orange Free State. We got Transvaal. I probably destroyed that name, but we got a slight portion of Antarctica. It shows cities over 500,000 population for the examples shown there. Capitals are as well shown. There's an unexplored region up here, which those islands there, I'm not going to try to pronounce those. They're not entirely shown. Egypt is independent. We've got Anglo-Egyptian Sudan. There's a little more of Antarctica shown here. And then here, we got the hemispheres, which kind of show basically about the same thing that we already saw. And we got the mountains here, which they're probably about all few feet lower because this is 1939 edition map made in Chicago, I'm quite sure. We got the Bering Strait here. Goes along North Pole, 6 months, constant daylight from 21st of March to 23rd of September. We got rivers here. The top one is the Mississippi, Missouri, and it shows the lowest one's the Hudson. On this side, the River Thames all the way up to the Nile. Let me try to move the sound a little bit. Oh, it's the Nile. Okay, I'll go to the next map. Okay, so here we got South America. So first, as you can tell, Brazil is huge. And I don't know when Brasilia was built. I'm quite sure it was like in the early 60s. But you can see the site of future capital there, so that's kind of interesting. Except for like the Guyanas and this disputed area between Ecuador and Peru. Not really a whole lot has changed on this map, so this part will be quite short. You can look around at the map here. Atlantic Ocean, still like similar scale. Not really much to show here in the first place, but there's South America. Okay, so here we got North America. So same as the last one, not a whole lot has changed. One thing I find interesting, it shows like different like routes, like New York to Habana, 1186. I think that's in miles. Quite sure. Yeah, it's in miles. Nevada, Las Vegas is not shown on there. I don't like Las Vegas wasn't. It was a city, as we'll see later at the time, but I don't think it really got big till around the 50s or 60s. Here's the Midwest. It shows for Iowa. It shows Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, and Sioux City. All the lines here, I'm quite sure, are railroads across. They don't show roads on this map. For Canada, the provinces are quite much the same, except for Northwest Territories. We got the Mackenzie District, the Keewatin District, and the Franklin District, as I showed you earlier. Greenland. Let's see. They don't really show much here. They have Jan Mayen here as Norway, even though it's the same color as Denmark, for whatever reason. British Honduras for Belize. Jamaica and the Bahama Islands. We got Alaska, which was not a state at the time. For Asia, they show the Soviet Union. And well, I'll go to the next map. Okay, so here we got Africa. Obviously, a lot different from what Africa looks to be today. So obviously we have French control all across here. Algeria is split up between the Northern Territory and the Southern Territory, which I find kind of interesting. There are no cities labeled in Mauritania. Mali is French Sudan. The only independent nations here, as you can see, are Liberia and I guess technically Egypt, according to this map. We got Libya, Anglo-Egyptian Sudan, Italian East Africa, so this is 1939, so no Ethiopia. We got the Union of South Africa here, and we got mandates on Cameroon, Togo, Southwest Africa, and Tanzania, and also Rwanda and Burundi. Not Zanzibar. Those were former German colonies during the First World War. Lake Chad is a lot larger than it is today. It shows St. Helena here, which that's where Napoleon got sent to. These labels here, which are basically the same for all of them, but just to show you. And on to the next map. Okay, and this one's Asia. Probably one of the most detailed ones, probably with the inclusion of the Himalayas and stuff like that. So we got, obviously they couldn't really show much of the warlords because they were just kind of de facto nations, so they just showed China, Xinjiang, Tibet, and Manchukuo. Not as Japanese though, it's like its own independent nation, according to this. Same with Outer Mongolia and Tannu-Tuva. The Soviet Union is split up into all the Soviet states. Also, the European and Asian part of Russia is split. And this one, it does show Leningrad. It also, like for Moscow, Moskova. I can't you probably can't read what it says below it. That's what it says. Iran, in parentheses, Persia. That British territory right there takes a large portion of the Arabian Desert. Yemen and Oman not having definitive borders as well. India, it also has Burma and Baluchistan. It also does show what is now Kashmir, Ceylon, Portuguese Goa, Bombay, now known as Mumbai, South China Sea, the Philippine Islands under American control. We got Australia here, which doesn't really look any different from what it does today. It does not show any of the oceanic islands on this. So, Japan here. It does show Korea as chosen. Darien, or Port Arthur. The Yellow Sea, the East China Sea, the Sea of Japan. It does show a few cities in Siberia like Yakutsk and Irkutsk. If I move the map up a little bit, you can see Severnia and Zemlya. I know I pronounced those entirely wrong, but they're not entirely shown. New Siberian Islands. I have no clue what they're called today. Franz Joseph Land. Shows Afghanistan. And it shows a lot of major cities in China, which are over 500,000 population, which were probably a lot less, probably a few years later. And I don't know exactly where they're getting the data from on this, but okay, so that's Asia. Okay, and here we got Europe, probably the one that you're probably most interested in. So Germany. So the Auschwitz has already happened, but if you do look for the Sudetenland, it does say to Germany. There's also Hungarian divisions, also with a slight Polish one. And then for Bohemia, it has German protectorate under it. And under the Slovakian territory, it says seceded from Czechoslovakia. Romania is spelled with a U. Albania is under Italian control. Obviously, they wouldn't show Spain in a civil war because not official borders or anything, so it just has Spain. It does show the Dogger Bank, which is kind of interesting. Norway, Bear Island, and then Svalbard is up there. The Soviet Union, as I said earlier, is split into different Soviet states. So we got the Russian Socialist Federative Soviet Republic, White Russia, Ukraine. It does show Crimea as Ukrainian, Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. Some of the cities are a little bit different. I'm pretty sure not hard to pronounce, but I don't know exactly how to pronounce them. That city right there, spelled with two I's, which I guess is kind of interesting. Stalingrad, Moscow, Leningrad. It does show the Kazakh SSR. Shows the lowlands, shows France, as I said earlier, it shows different railroads. The micronations are on here. Monaco, Andorra. If you look close, you can see Liechtenstein, San Marino, and even the Vatican City. So that's probably all that I have to say about Europe. Oh yeah. Great Britain is showing difference between England, Wales, Scotland, and the Irish Free State, even though Ireland's colored the same as the rest of Great Britain. Okay, on the next map. Okay, and here we got the United States. So, also Mexico. So it does show United States and all the territories. Let me try to... Yeah, that's the best I can do. Oh yeah, one thing I do want to show you for Alaska though. Sorry for the local camera. I can't... There we go. You can see Barrow, Alaska on here. Not Prudhoe Bay. I don't know when that was established. Okay. It also shows Puerto Rico, which one mapping error is that if you look at Haiti there, that's supposed to be the Dominican Republic. It's one error that I noticed. Alaska, quite sure is shown to the 1-to-1 scale. Down here, not really much has changed a whole lot. Just different city populations. Like Nevada is Las Vegas is under the 50,000. I know I'm repeating myself on some of these facts, but shows different railroads. California, Texas, Northeast. I'll try to post better quality pictures of this image maybe on YouTube. But this is what it looks like for the United States, Mexico. And on the next map. Okay, and last but not least, we got the Iowa map, which does show an index for all of the Iowa towns. There's no hell way I'm reading that. So how about we just look at the counties here. So the counties haven't changed. I think the last change in Iowa counties was like 1870 something. So this is what the counties look like. It does show different railroads across Iowa. We do have Des Moines, we have Cedar Rapids, we have Davenport, Iowa City, Council Bluffs, Iowa City, Fort Dodge. So yeah, it does show the list of counties here. The U.S. system of township survey. Shortest railroad mileage between Iowa cities. But you can't read that. I might have a separate picture of that. It's by the Clayson Map Company from Denver. I swear I thought they were from Illinois, but so this is the Iowa map. They don't have any other states here because this map was made in Iowa. And so yeah, that's the map. Hope you enjoyed.